Hello, everybody. This is Lucas from Yes Tiger, and today we will be talking with Brian about his entry into the idol fandom, unexpectedly meeting the idol who would end up becoming his Oshimen, in the time when even the power of Mother Nature could not keep him from being there for his Oshi on her special night. Hey, Brian.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, so can I get you to introduce yourself to everybody listening?
My name is Brian. I'm 31 from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
Canada.
And my Oshimen is Sasaki Miho from Ready to Kiss.
Cool, cool. So, can you go and tell us so what is your hit? Where are you? How long have you been into idols and everything?
I've been into Idol since September last year.
Okay. So that
So
was like
mid-September, I guess.
2018, yeah. It's
Yeah.
2019 currently. So who's your Oshiman? Who's your Oshiman? Who are you on here to talk to or talk
My,
about?
my Oshimen is Miho Sasaki from Ready to Kiss.
Cool, cool. So can you tell me her age, maybe where she's from, or any type of hobbies or interests she has?
She's 28 years old. She is from Chiba Prefecture, I believe.
Oh, cool, Chiba. Yeah.
So her hobbies are she loves movies, she loves horror movies, and she's really big into swimming. And at one
Swimming.
point, she told me she swam competitively for about 14 years or so, I think it was.
Oh wow,
And I
14
guess at
years.
one point she was even either her goals were for the Olympics or she tried out for the Olympics.
Huh. That's interesting. Well, with the 2020 Olympics coming up in Tokyo, maybe
Yeah,
who knows?
I wish I had that in my mind when I was talking to her
Yeah, you should have been
or
like, "Hey,
asked her.
are you gonna are you gonna be in the Tokyo Olympics?"
Yeah,
Could you imagine literally cheering for Yoshi when she's on stage, but then also cheering for her when she's out there swimming in the Olympics? That would
that was pretty
be
cool.
that would be pretty cool. So so can you tell me so what was it that drew you to Miho herself? Why is it that you Oshi her?
Really, it's because I'm still so brand new to idols. I don't have much to go on to compare one idol to another.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just when I went and met her for the first time and actually talked to her, we both got along so well,
Uh huh.
and that we kept on exchanging words. And I was like, oh, I want to go see her again. She was she was the second idol I ever got to meet,
Uh huh.
but she was the one I was like, yeah, I just want to go back and see her again and again. I
So
enjoyed talking with her.
that's awesome. So where did you first meet her at? Where was it that you first met her at?
Uh, it's one of those video game venues that in Akihabara.
Uh huh.
Her group had a CD release event,
Okay.
and David had his David, but people
Yeah.
listening may not. But David is the person that actively tried to get me into idols. And
And
sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
So David had his friend that invited him to this release event, and in turn, David invited me because he also come with me to Japan. It'll be fun. I'm gonna get you into idols.
So you
And so,
mentioned. So
sorry, go
sorry. Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
So the whole lead up was uh, we're at CD Towers first. It's like, oh, this is the group I'm gonna have you go see tonight, called Ready to Kiss, and I go, like, that's a strange name because I'm still brand new. It's like I'm not familiar with why they would name things the way they do or whatever. It's like that seems like a strange name. And so when we go to see them and they go play their first song, or their whole intro too is like they have this music on and the crowd chants up and they all come out one by one and they yell their name.
Uh huh.
and then they spell out the name of the group, but then they get this really kind of guttural noise at the beginning, go ready to kiss. So like it sounds like it's gonna be something else, and then it comes into this sort of rock pop ish kind of
Uh-huh.
music. So it's a neat little twist, at least a little bit. And
Hmm.
then just playing, as they played the first song, I was like, okay, I actually really like that song. And then the second one was like, I really like that too. And then just as the event went on, I didn't know any names at the beginning. I just was like, that blue one's pretty cute. And like the whole issue with my unknowing about idol groups, I thought the idea was to always pick a favorite to each group you saw.
Hmm.
So like, okay, you're gonna be my favorite just because I thought you looked the cutest. But then when I go and actually meet her, it's like, oh, you're more than a previous. You're just a genuinely nice person.
Huh. So was she the one member that you thought was like the cutest, like when you first saw her, or was there a different member and then you kind of met her and you're like, oh, I actually kind of like her more?
Well, from the crowd, like I gauged from her and one other member. I was like, it's gonna be one of those two. And then at the end of the show, they had the whole like the checkies and the meetups afterwards, and
Hmm.
I wasn't I wasn't planning to have any part in that whatsoever. But David's friend, who at the release event bought like hundreds of CDs, so he had all these tickets to give out.
Uh-huh.
Then sudden he gave some to David, and then David came to me. He's like, "Yeah, you want to go meet one? You want to meet one?" I was like, no, I don't know." Well, but then his friend's like, "Yeah, just take these and they'll pick one." I was like, "All right, I guess I'll go see the blue one, I guess." And then uh, the way it worked, they weren't actually. I know it's usually the case that they're standing at the stage and waiting,
Hmm.
but this was so far at the end of the whole meetup thing. Like if they didn't have anyone, they like went behind the curtain.
Hmm.
So and I wasn't like really a lineup. You actually had places to sit too.
Uh-huh.
So I just sat there and then I handed the tickets to the who I thought was the manager at the time, but it turns out he's the music producer.
Huh. Interesting.
So then calls him out, and then she pulls out the curtain, and she sees a foreigner all of a sudden. I guess she goes, "Ah, American." Like, no, no, Canadian.
How often do you did I guess so you said you've seen her and then like one other idol. Was the other idol that you met, did they have like a very similar kind of reaction to seeing you? Because I hear a lot about that. Whenever an idol will say we'll meet someone who's white and they'll automatically think like American, and a lot of times they're actually like Canadian or something like that.
Uh, that one I don't know too much. That one was it wasn't for the checkies,
Uh huh.
because that one was like, oh, the checkies are done. Now it's just handshakes.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And my idea with the handshake events is like that handshake lasts for far too long and it becomes weird. And but the whole issue was like again, Miho she actually knows a fair bit of English.
Oh
Like,
really? Really?
oh yeah, she's not very confident in it, but
Uh huh.
she's a lot better at it than she thinks she is.
That's really interesting. And you actually, it's funny that it's funny you say that because there are actually a lot of idols out there who are like that, where they aren't very confident in their English, but you'll hear
Oh,
them and
Japanese
it's like
people
crazy,
in
right?
general that I've met over there
Uh huh.
don't seem to be very quite confident with their English.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I had no idea that she actually spoke any English.
Right, she studied English in college.
Oh, really?
I think she even studied some Chinese as well.
That's insane. That's awesome. That's really really cool. So like you kind of mentioned that she was kind of like your entry into like the idol world and everything. And I actually kind of, so this isn't our first time speaking. We actually, what was it? How long ago was it?
Oh, that would have been back when when David first told me, he's like, yeah, come to Japan with me. I'll try and get you into idols. That was like back in maybe June, July of 2017.
Yeah, because we played Splatoon that one night, and I remember
Yeah.
Dave and I were talking about the play balls, kind of like the baseball themed idol group
That
and
was the
everything.
group David was intending for me to get into.
That's really funny.
That,
That's really
this
funny.
this is actually a whole lead up to like of when me like choosing me. I was like, okay, you're gonna be my pseudo favorite because I've just never met them in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I was like, they're sort of my favorite. Was like when play balls was when David was talking to me about that, it's like, yeah, I'll try and get into them. And then a whole bunch of those members liked David's tweet,
Uh-huh.
but there was one member that liked my tweet, was Komari Nakamoto.
Oh yeah, Kamari, yeah.
I was like, all right, fine, you're gonna be my favorite of that group. And then before I get to Japan, she graduates.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so what's funny is and then the other idol I met, I can't pull out the name of her name. It's the group was Ikiteru Hearts. And her Minami something.
Huh.
And when I was in the crowd of that, I did the same thing as, okay, I think you're the cutest, so I'll pick you as the favorite. And then that was the show where she announces that she's graduating.
Oh, lovely.
So during that whole event at Ready to Kiss, I was actually enjoying this, and I already decided to pick the blue one, as I called it. I turned to David, I was like, is the blue one leaving anytime soon?
And I'm sure by now you've realized that the answer is always yes. Like you can never like bank on like your Oshimen to not leave.
Yeah. Well, as for her history, she was a part of a different group beforehand. She was
Oh
part
really?
of Hokuto Princess.
And you know
She
that's
was
funny.
she was under the stage name Ayase Miho, and then she left that back in April 2017, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few months later, she showed up at Ready to Kiss.
Oh wow. So that really wasn't Ready to Kiss essentially isn't her first rodeo.
No, and I think from what I understand, Ready to Kiss is a break off of Hokuto Princess.
Yeah, I think they have like I think a total was like 4 or 5 of their members like were originally from Hokkaido. That's
The
really cool.
original, yeah.
Yeah, and their particular. So do you know like Ready to Kiss? Do they have? So they're sister groups of like
Selah,
Selah,
Hot Dog Cat, Baby to Kiss.
Hot Dog
I
Cat.
think
What a
it was,
name. Yeah, I think that's
yeah,
it.
David's someone getting to that one. I think those are the only three.
Yeah. So did you have you ever the live that you went to was it just Ready to Kiss?
Yeah, it was just their CD release event, so they only played. I think it was a very short event show as well, like maybe 4 songs. It was
Gotcha.
for their not their newest CD, but the one before that is called Tiny Iki Tai.
Okay.
I want to go to Thailand. I think it's
Yeah,
supposed
that
to
was like that
translate
one with
to.
the bikini ish music video.
Yes.
I say bikini ish, but it was straight up bikinis.
Yeah, so it was a whole show, I think, promoting that, or it was the night that they were giving out the CDs as well, I believe.
So that was like your entry into the idol world and everything. So
Hmm.
I'm really curious to know what was like a lot of people would see idol, especially ones who had like never really gone into idols and everything before. They'd see idols and think, this is like a pretty unique. I say unique. Some people would say weird type thing that's going on. Like what was your initial like feelings towards like idols and everything, kind of like that?
Not that positive, honestly, just from seeing it, from what I did know and
Mm-hmm.
seeing it as an outsider's perspective. My whole idea was like the 30, 40, and onwards old men at a concert of like barely teenage girls.
Mm-hmm.
And that some of them I've always heard like it's always the negative stories that come out into the West, right?
Right. Right.
Like
Oh,
all the obsessive fan, like
yeah.
and the attacks the idol, or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's all I ever knew about. But then when I actually go to a show, I see people from the old ages like that to even like late teen guys, I guess, and even some girls that are at the shows too, and they're
Mm-hmm.
just enjoying themselves as a group.
Yeah, that's you hear that so much with like people who aren't necessarily idol fans and everything. And there's not much you can really do about it. Of course, there are videos, publications, whatever, basically kind of like trying to basically hold up their argument for like the whole idol culture and everything. And
Hmm.
it's you definitely, like as you said, a lot of people would see it as, there's a lot of old men. It's all old men, and all they're doing is looking at idols that are probably hardly of age, if that. And it's really interesting
Yeah,
because, yeah, go ahead.
it just from an outsider's perspective when you don't know everything, it does seem pretty scummy.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, as much as Idol fans would not want to admit it, it definitely you can totally see exactly why it is. It kind of looks like that from the outside and everything. I mean, there's no doubt
Mm-hmm.
about it. So, like, you mentioned that you didn't initially plan on like taking place or taking part in the whole like handshakes or like taking the checkies and everything. So, like,
Well,
what?
that was coupled with me being, I was like my third or fourth full day in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and that initial eating meal I was kind of awkward. I was like, I don't know if I want that again.
Yeah.
But then I was kind of more pressured into it. But then I'm more thankful for it.
There you go. That's all that matters. That's really all that matters at the end of the day, is if you had a good time and everything, right?
Mhm.
So,
I guess the one lead up I can get is like how I wanted to actually go see Miho again because it
uh-huh.
wasn't instant.
Yeah.
It was like yeah, I enjoyed myself, and then it was initially gonna go to the back of my mind, and it's like okay, now what else am I gonna do while I'm in Japan?
Yeah.
Or what show is David gonna take me to next? So what the whole deal was, uh, we went with David and his friend to go have like dinner afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's either David or his friend. So was like, "Oh, take a picture of that Checky with your food and send it to Miho," which is, I guess, a thing Idols fans do.
Yeah, Chekimeshi? Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So he goes to me like, "Okay, I guess." Like, and I went and followed her too. It's like, "Oh, why not?" And it's like, typed out. I was like, "Oh, it was a super pleasure to meet you." Send that, and like a hour later, she just likes it. I was like, "Oh, okay." I thought there was like gonna be some sort of reply or something, and then I just went to the rest of my night, and then the morning that was like the first day I'd ever do laundry in Japan, so I went and did
uh-huh.
that and like wrote some stuff on Twitter. But then all of a sudden, like my phone was just blowing up, and then it was like Sasaki Miho like 17 tweets. I was like, oh,
17
what
tweets.
the something like that.
So it's kind of
I
like,
was like, that's strange. And I messaged Dave. I was like, I messaged Dave. I was like, she's just doing this now, and all he does is laughs. And then I just continued on with the rest of my day. And then I think the very next day after that, Dave and I were taking the Shinkansen to Hiroshima, and just went through that. And that whole day, she still randomly starts liking the tweets as I go out. Like every single tweet that I make,
oh,
she goes and
wow.
likes them.
That's
And
intense.
then I spend like a full day in Hiroshima, and then our whole plan was after Hiroshima, we're going to go to Nagoya. And then I was like, she's still liking my tweets. And I was like, yeah, I guess I do kind of want to see her again because I enjoyed the talk. And then I saw like what show they're doing this day, and I'm on the other side of the main island.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was for another member, Hiromi Makino's birthday event.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, oh, I asked David, like, do you think we can make that if we take? He's like, yeah, if we take the train right now, we can get in just in time for Tokyo. And so his whole deal was it was in Akihabara, and my hotel was in Sekisubashi, which is like one station away.
Yeah.
So his whole deal was he was gonna meet me at the venue. He's gonna show me videos of okay, you take this turn, you take this turn, and this is how you get to it. So I just wanted to go back and change and bring a gift for
Mm-hmm.
her, I mean, which I didn't even know if gifts to idols were okay at the
Right.
time. There's just some maple candies I was gonna give her. It's like, oh, it was really fun talking to you. But when we get to the venue, we find out, oh, it's sold out,
Oh, really?
and I can't come in because it was they do. Radicus does at least a lot of pre-sales, and
Uh-huh.
I guess for I don't know if the regular shows at all if there's a limit, but
Right.
the birthday events, yeah, there's a certain limit you can get in.
Yeah.
But then he messages his friend from that invited him to the CD release event. He's like, yeah, I'm going to this too anyway, and I have a spare ticket.
Oh, wow.
Then he eventually comes by, and then he gives me like the QR code for the other free ticket,
Uh-huh.
and then they just let David in. So yeah, whatever. So we get to the venue, and then just this whole there's a closed door, and now we're at the door with the like my back pressed against it as people are trying to run by. And it's like it was the most packed room I had seen thus far. Then as I after the whole event, that was my first introduction to like the birthday events too, which are a little different.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
But
Yep.
then as in line and getting the tickets and handing it to the music producer again, I was like, and I asked him, I was like, "Are gifts okay?" And he goes like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then he's about to walk away, and he comes back. He's like, "What is it?" Like, "Oh, it's just some candy." Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead.
That's really
Then I got to see her
interesting.
again. She like second she saw me, she's like, "Ah, Brian."
Oh,
So then after that, I went at least two or three other times that were entirely on my own, trying to navigate Tokyo
oh wow,
to learn
yeah.
about all these locations.
Well, that's really funny that you mentioned the birthday events. So like while when I was out there living out there like in Nagoya, I had this one friend who she wasn't quite into idols, but she was totally open to the idea of actually going to an idol live. And it
Hmm.
was kind of like that's like the biggest thing was like I really wanted to like get some more people into idols and everything, but you always have to be very careful like, about which live you take them to for the very first time. And I know so many people who first went to like a birthday event and it completely turned them off from the whole idea of it
Oh,
because
really?
yeah, because like you said, it was completely packed and everything. Some people just don't really, I guess, kind of like that type of scene. So
Yeah. But the first show that David took me to was I guess they call him a one man.
yeah, the one man's yeah,
So it was like I really don't know how long it was. Like it felt like it could have been 3, 4 hours long or
yeah,
whatever.
definitely, yeah.
And it was just the one group, and they did lots of times where they're talking, and I don't know Japanese, so I'm just saying like, yeah, okay.
It's okay. It looks like
So
you can kind of get it from the kind of like the mood and everything in the room
a little bit,
a little bit.
especially when that was a show where two members like, yeah, we're leaving. They're graduating the group. So I just noticed like one girl was like super big smiling her all the time, and then as this one last song, all of a sudden she's breaking out crying. I was like, oh, what happened to the one with the big smile? So I guess it was like the very last song they were doing with each other.
Oh, I always feel bad for whenever like I'm at something like that and a member announces a graduation. And you just kind of like you look at the people who are obvious like fans of that particular idol, and you're just like
Hmm.
feel so bad for them. It feels bad. Feels bad. So you mentioned that the whole coming across the notifications of having her liked 17 plus, and then also liking just about every other photo that you posted that day. So like was that kind of like the basically the selling point? Like was that at that point you're kind of like, yeah, I want to go see her more and everything.
I suppose it was because she was at least making the effort to like go and actively look at my Twitter because
Yeah.
like she does that at least with like a handful of other of her fans.
Mm-hmm.
So she was making all that drive to like seeing what I was doing in Japan next and everything, and she still does it to this day.
Yeah. That's really
Like no matter what
nice.
it is.
Well, that's
So
really
I just wanted to go like, yeah, she's doing this much effort. It's like I'd like to go see her again. It was fun.
yeah. Well, that's one of the really really nice things, especially when you're living outside Japan. It's really really nice when you find that idol that puts in the effort, especially when you're not there and everything. That's just really
Hmm.
refreshing. You don't really see that too often and everything.
Yeah, especially if like I mentioned like fans like Miho has quite a number of fans that are overseas.
Oh,
It's like
really?
you've had her on. I went through your YouTube videos and you had her on a show. Well, not this show specifically, but in other videos.
Mm-hmm.
Chima, her she calls me her Kamiyoshi. So she's got fans that I'm aware of that from Canada to the U.S., England,
Oh, wow.
Thailand, Taiwan. So she's not like and compared to the other groups, I guess she's not the main popular one. So she's
Uh-huh.
kind of the bottom half, but she has quite a number of fans around the world.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. I'd always seen what was that one member who used to Kisumi? She seems to be pretty popular with
Yes.
with a lot of the foreign crowd and everything. Probably because of the Gravere. Not saying that's the only thing, but so
Yeah, she from what I can tell in the Czechia lineup, she seems to be the most popular.
yeah, I imagine so. That's really cool. I had no idea. I had no idea that Miho was that popular around the world. That's really cool though. And you said
Well, I guess from people that meet her, like she's a genuine, like she feels very genuine whenever she's talking to you, like, and very
hmm
personable and considerate. So she may not have a large group of fans, but she genuinely cares for every single one that she has.
that's awesome. I love to hear about idols who are like that. So other than kind of like just her how genuine she is and everything, what do you say is kind of like her other strengths like as an idol?
Ah, there's actual strength. Like she's kind of like a middle of the pack, like singer and dancer, but I think it is her kindness and like if you go and talk to her, she's a sort of shy and like reserved person.
Uh huh.
But with the people that do come to see her, like she is just so genuinely kind to you.
Oh
I think that's what the draw is.
yeah, definitely. That's awesome. That's awesome. So the release event was your first time and everything. Um, so all you guys listening, I actually came across Brian's his one of his recent write ups about this was he said the second time that you had met her.
Oh yeah. Well, second time I went to Japan,
Second time you went to Japan. Okay,
I saw her like 4 or 5 times on my first visit to
gotcha.
Japan.
But the second time you went to Japan when you met her.
Yeah, the whole purpose was to go see her for her birthday.
Gotcha. Oh, I love that. I love that. So I read that write up, and it was first of all I love to hear stories like these, and I commend you for like writing taking the time to like write about this because it was like I absolutely loved it. Um,
A whole slew of events that happened. I had to write it down somewhere just so I don't forget.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So go ahead. I'm going to actually link his write up to this everything because you absolutely just have to read this. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful story, like definitely. But can you kind of give us kind of a short rundown of kind of like how the events like unfolded and everything? It was a very unfortunate. So it started out very unfortunate, but the end
I'll
it was
try and
just
bridge it as fast as I can, like without like skimming too much at least. But
yeah.
the whole deal is I have to go just because Ottawa is such a small airport. I have to go from Ottawa to Toronto to then Tokyo,
Mm-hmm.
and of course her birthday is in January 31st. So and Canadian winter, especially in January, it's pretty bad. So my whole plan was to get there at least a couple days early because I had talked with their birthday committee
Uh huh.
and I asked them, "Am I allowed to help out in some way?" And if I was like, "Yeah, you can. If you can get here at the venue at like noon, you can help us decorate, and then we'll all celebrate together." It's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And I was planning to be there at least 2 days early, 2 3 days. My brain's a little mushy on that right now, but as soon as I got a big delay from Ottawa to Toronto, so then the it caused me to miss the flight from Toronto to Tokyo, and they only do one of those a day.
Wow.
So that whole day I had to then find an airport and didn't know what happened with my luggage. But then uh, the whole long lineup was like, yeah, and then did I have it? Yeah, no, I didn't have it my first. Yes, I did. So that's it. Yes, I did. I eventually got my luggage, which was a big surprise to me. You'll see in the wrap of the whole slew of nonsense that happened to me. But I had to get a hotel and then come back and wait in the airport terminal all day to find out that this flight was then canceled because it was just a big whiteout. You couldn't see anything out the windows. So 2 full days in Toronto, and then third day, uh, like the night before that, I had told me I was like, yeah, I'm very sorry. It doesn't look like I'm gonna make your birthday event. And she is even replying, it's like, oh, I'm worried about the whole plane and everything. Please be okay. And then that whole day, another big delay, delayed 4 hours, 4 different times, I
Phew.
think. I was like, oh, this is really not going to work now. But I'll at least get to Japan and I'll see her some other day, I guess. And then get on the plane, and then I get a plane that little TV screens, they don't work. At least mine didn't. So I'm stuck listening to nothing, looking at nothing for 14 hours. And then all I am is looking at my phone and it's like looking at a clock. It's like, okay, it's expected to land at this certain time. If I rush over and get my like portable Wi-Fi so I can use Google Maps and rent a taxi, I can just go straight to the venue in Shibuya. It's like, and maybe something will work out. So plane lands. The plane doesn't go to a terminal. It sits at the tarmac, and we have to wait for a bus to pick us up to then go to the terminal. So that's like a little more of a delay. Go through the customs and security and whatnot. Run through the Haneda airport, which I thankfully was familiar with the layout of that a little bit, except for where the taxis were. I went to every possible place, except and the last place was where the taxis were. So, getting my whole phone ready, hand it to a guy's like, this should be the address for Shibuya Rex, which is where they're holding the venue.
Mm-hmm.
But the way like it wasn't, it was sort of along a main street, but the side streets were like lots of one ways. And
Oh,
so I guess the way the one ways worked, he would have to go this like big long way around to
right.
then drop me off. It's like, yeah, this is a main intersection. It's down this way. And when I like a name with like Rex, I would think like an X would be accentuated in like the logo or something. So on this corner of the street, I see a big red X. I was like, oh, that must be it. But no, I believe it was for some like yakitori restaurant or something. So I'm like, this guy gave me the wrong place because Google Maps was not working. It was showing us like, oh, you're somewhere in this like 5 block radius. It's like, I don't know where I am. And just going up and down all these side streets, I know he pointed, oh, it's this way. So I could at least narrow it down that way at least. And eventually I come across the street, and then in this one spot on a brightly lit street where there's a dead light, I finally see like a big staircase down, but the light's broken, so you don't notice it compared to the rest of the buildings on the streets. That should be a Rex, of course. And I just happened to notice. If I didn't notice this big balloon and floral set for Miho
Oh
just
yeah.
sitting on the outside, I would have walked past that every single time. So then I walk in. I went from I think -20 weather or something like that winter to it was like +10, +11 in Tokyo.
Wow.
I'm sitting there in like a windbreaker and a hood sweatshirt and a winter hat on. I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm sweating and huffing and puffing, exhausted, fresh off a 14-hour flight. And the guys just look at me, seeing a foreigner just come in with a big ass backpack on and haul around this pull on luggage. I was like, yeah, hey. And I'm like still with my phone. I was like, here's the QR code. It's like, oh yeah, okay, go in. And like I didn't hear music, but I could hear talking from like the microphones. It's like, oh, so it's at least so going on. And as I opened up the doors, I was expecting to be at the back of the crowd, but I was actually in the middle ish on the side. So everyone was looking off to my right at the stage. And so people look at me as like, and I briefly like poked my head in as like, I just want to get to the back, and it was like, it's so crowded. I'm not gonna be able to pull my luggage through that. It's ridiculous. So I shut the doors. I turned to the people that were at the entrance. Like I was gonna ask them if I could just leave my stuff behind their desk or something because it was just so packed. And then as a mid sentence in that, the doors behind me burst open, and then some guy goes, Brian, and just grabs my arm and starts pulling me. So I've got all my luggage still with me, and he just keeps pulling me, and like the crowd is like opening like the Red Sea or something like that. And he's like, he starts shouting like in Japanese, like tate or mate kudasai,
Uh-huh.
or please wait or something. And then he's like, I remember him hearing Brian and Toronto, but he's like shouting this as the crowd's like parting to let me get to like dead center, front and center. And I guess for their whole bunch of events, they take a group photo with the members and the crowd.
Right.
So they were all set to do that, and they're pulling me away. And then during that, someone just grabs the luggage out of my other hand. I was like, oh, I needed that. And I don't know, but the other guy is still pulling me. I learned that he had to have been a Ready to Kiss staff member because it's the voice that plays in my memory
Uh-huh.
is the voice of one of the members that handles like the lineups for the checkies.
Oh
So I believe I know who it is.
wow.
And so he pulls me up, and then they're just set to take their photos. Their whole back was turned. But then it's like, so Miho was like had her back turned, and she sees like, oh, I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
and like they're all now staring at me. I could see like the sides of my eyes, like the people that are beside me, they're staring at me, and I don't know what they wanted from me here. So like I'm so exhausted. All I could get was like a hey, I'm here. So the crowd just laughs and like says something to themselves. So then they get the photo and they do like two more songs as an encore. So I got there at the very, very end.
What was her initial like reaction when she saw you?
Uh, Kind of like a jaw drop ish look.
That's
Because
great.
I was thinking that at the end of the day, I was like, this was like something out of a movie. It was like the guy shows up at the last moment.
Definitely. That's exactly how I felt when I read that. I was like, this is literally something straight out of a movie or something.
Yeah. But like to say something else, like to add like to Mio's character, like of like how considerate she is. Like they I guess do all idol groups for their birthday events they have like special T-shirts.
Yeah, typically.
Okay, so they did for Mio's, and she like show off on her Twitter like, oh, this is where you can pre-order the shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And just for some reason, it just wouldn't accept, I guess, a foreign
Right.
thing.
Foreign
So I was like,
card.
oh, I was having some trouble. I was like, oh, that sucks. It's like I'll try and get one at the show. But I guess because I was late, they had
Yeah.
already gone through and bought them.
Yeah.
So as I was in line, I saw some clothing. It's like, oh, that must be the shirts. I don't know what they look like. But I was like, oh, I'll buy three because I have another friend in Vancouver that really likes Miho as well. And then another one for Chima. I'll get them for them. And then as I get to my luggage, I'm gonna try and stuff them into my packed luggage, and like these are pretty thick. It's like, oh, they're just Ready to Kiss hoodies. Like, oh, that sucks. And then I go back and ask him about the t-shirts. Like, no, sold out. Sorry. Like, oh well. And as I go in line just to finally like talk to Miho for the checkies and everything, the music producer again is handling that lineup, and he recognizes me before, and then I guess Miho talks with the members and the staff. It's like all this, they're fans, I guess sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
He immediately recognized me, and then he's quite good with English actually.
Oh, really?
And I mentioned like, oh, it's a shame the t-shirts are sold out. I was like, oh, you didn't get one? And he's like, he pulls me away from the lineup,
Uh-huh.
and then he comes back to the good stage, the Bupon, I think it's called.
Yeah, Bupan.
Okay, and then he goes behind the table underneath, and there's two T-shirts that just have Brian written on them.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. That's
She made sure to
awesome.
ask the staff to like you save some for Brian.
Oh my gosh. It is funny because, like, as you said, like you showed up there at the very end, but those T-shirts typically go like sometimes you can't even get them day of the show. But like if you manage to be able to get them day of the show, like you have to be there at the very beginning, if not
Yeah,
earlier. That's so awesome that you ended up getting those. That's
yeah, that was
awesome.
pretty cool. So and I kept one for me, and I mailed one to Chima afterwards.
Oh,
So and her shirt was like she's a pretty clever girl too.
oh,
Like her whole she just said that she designed it herself. So on the front it is like the Adidas logo.
uh
That's an Adidas. It just says Miho Das.
huh. Wow. It's better than like the ones that the idols who do like the whole Supreme type logo and then just have like their name on it.
Oh, really? I haven't seen
Yeah,
that. I've
I've
seen
seen
lots of them where it's just their name or a picture of them.
with the picture. I've always loved the ones where they have the name and then they have some kind of like anime styled like cute little drawing of them. I love those. But that's really cute. So like it's you're talking about how kind of like you showed up and everything, and they kind of the fans like kind of made way for you, and it was almost kind of like a like some type of celebrity kind of like just came into the room. But that's
A little bit. I can say nothing, but they're really good fans there too. So when I went there for back in September, when I started going by myself,
mm-hmm.
there were, I guess one member. I didn't ask if I could say his name, so I won't, at least here.
Right.
But he would always, and a lot of them would recognize, oh, this guy only goes to Miho, only goes to Miho.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess Ready Kids, oh, they also sell like solo checkies.
Uh-huh.
They don't like to sell just the tickets. They want you have to get something too, so they throw in like solo checkies as
Uh-huh.
a way to buy the tickets. So this guy shows up with a handful of Miho ones and just hands them to me. Like
Oh.
on my first time going to them,
Uh-huh.
and then on my last day back that in Japan back in September, he does it one more time,
Oh
and then
wow.
he does it three other times on my trip in January and February.
Oh, that's so nice. You know, and it's funny you say that like about the fans and everything because they're personally when I really find a group that I really love, a huge part of it is because of just like how nice the fans are and everything. And I really like that. And you don't really see that too often with kind of there are particular idol groups that are like they're not big, but they're a little bit more well known within kind of the underground idol scene and everything. And I definitely think
Hmm.
Ready to Kiss is kind of in that kind of area, and it's always really nice to hear whenever the fans that are there and everything are like that. A lot of them are like approachable. Definitely when
Yeah,
it
well,
comes to
leading
singing
up to it,
foreign,
David like warned me like, oh, sometimes idol fans might be territorial.
right,
Like going there, I was like a little worried, like, oh, I'll just mind my own business and just go and enjoy the music and then go see Miho afterwards. I wasn't
right.
trying to, but some people actually started coming up to talk to me, and some of them know English whatsoever, so they would try. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I want to eventually learn Japanese so that they're not bending over backwards to try and talk to me.
Right.
But and there's some of them who are perfect English, like they've gone to visit Canada a couple times, and it's like oh, and they've noticed me more and more, so they actually want to go and talk to me and welcome me into the group. And some of
Oh.
them, again back at Neil's birthday, the group tried to get me to do the was it the call or the
Kind of like
fire tiger cyber
right, like kind of like the
or
mixing or whatever.
that whole thing
Uh huh.
mixing. That's what it is. They tried to get me into that. I was like, oh, I don't know it offhand, and I'm a little exhausted, so I politely declined.
But that's really awesome that they went that extra mile to like kind of try to and like include you in everything. And it's I definitely see that with a lot of fans in particular groups that whenever you are, let's say you have a particular liking towards one particular member, it's a lot easier and you see it a lot more often that a lot of the fans will kind of be more open to like talking to you and everything and even giving you free stuff and everything.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, they were incredibly welcoming.
That's awesome.
Again, one more thing like about Miho that I haven't mentioned is like I don't know how again because I'm so new I don't know how much interaction idols do like social media wise with their fans like personally talking to them
Mm-hmm.
like Miho on that Ameba
Yeah,
blog
the blogs.
like she does that like every couple weeks or so,
Mm-hmm.
and she'll always reply like a full paragraph for everyone that comments
Oh
on the
really?
blog.
Oh wow.
Like she'll spend a whole paragraph in each of her blogs to talk to every individual one that's replied, like before she writes up her next one.
Oh wow.
So like during that, so Miho and I have been able to actually have like full length conversations with each other since September.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I wish more idols and more groups would kind of do that because like we've kind of been talking about, it's not easy being a fan living outside of Japan and everything. It's kind of sometimes it can be hard to really kind of connect with your Oshimen when you're outside of Japan. So it's really nice to hear like whenever you come across these groups that allow you to have these opportunities to build like a better relationship with the idol and everything. So you mentioned like that they kind of just like wrap things up and everything. You mentioned that Ready to Kiss actually has like a pretty decent amount of foreign fans. Do they have like any type for, let's say anyone who's listening to this episode right now is interested in also getting into the group? Do they have like any type of say like videos? Like, is there anything that people can watch to get into the group?
They do have a bunch of music videos on their, I think it's the King Records YouTube account.
Gotcha. Do they have a?
I think they. Sorry, go ahead.
I was about to ask if they had like their own like YouTube channel or something.
I think they did, unless it's a fan one that's just called Ready to Kiss, where the two kiss is one whole word. Like it was originally them that had some old videos, but they're all their like most recent music videos, like the Taini Iki Tai, and their new one Date Date. That's all on the King Records.
Gotcha. I guess
YouTube channel.
Gotcha. Yeah, looking at it right now, it looks like they do have. Yeah, that's like what you said. They have a bunch of. Looks like they even have live videos and everything. Kind of, but they seem to be fairly. Let's see here. The most recent one was 1 year ago. That's really cool, though. I mean, 1 year ago isn't bad at all. That's definitely.
The most recent one should have been this January or February.
For their personal, not the Ready to Kiss one.
Their music video.
The music video, gotcha, and that's on King Records. You said.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like I'll say, like, singing wise, they're not the best talented, I guess, to say. Like they still sounds nice, but their voices together don't harmonize too well together. But they're more of a individual personalities sort of group.
Yeah, I definitely get that vibe from them.
Like each member personality wise is quite different from each other.
Cool. So, and they also said their the blogs Ameblo, what is that? I always forget. Is it Ameblo? Ameblo?
I think it's Ameblo with the L.
Yep, Ameblo.
Okay.
So you said Miho also kind of posts like every.
Miho regularly writes an update blog on that each time.
Gotcha.
I think a few of the members use that and Instagram. Every single one of them has a Twitter account.
Okay, so Twitter. So basically, you can kind of get into.
One of them does Twitch streaming.
Oh really?
Video games.
Oh really? Video games.
Reina.
Oh, okay. So you kind of just have you have Instagram, Twitter, Ameblo, and YouTube. It seems like a pretty good place to find them. Do they do Showroom by chance, like the idol streaming site or streaming platform?
I'm not familiar with Showroom. Gotcha. I know they do something with some Japanese talent called Park Manther. He's like this rapper DJ guy. I looked at his Twitter. He's like 100,000 follower type of person on Twitter. So he's, I guess, fairly popular. He does lots of work with Ready to Kiss.
Oh really?
So I've seen. I don't know where they're from, but they have videos of them all lined up and like he's asking them questions, or I guess. Again, it's all in Japanese, so I'm assuming what's happening.
Gotcha.
It's what some fans I made like friends with, like they'll always say, "Oh, they were at this thing on TV, or they had like an internet radio interview." And then like one of them would like show like a quick video of them.
So it looks like from here, what I can see, they have Kisumi is on Showroom, I believe. Yep, they have a Showroom. I think it might just be Kisumi, actually. It may just be her. But so it seems like if you're interested in Kisumi or any of the other groups or any of the other members, looks like Showroom could be a place you can look for. You said Twitch for that one member who does video game streaming. And I'll go.
There's lots of League of Legends.
And then Twitter, Instagram,
I guess another. Sorry to interrupt you, but one thing is like I guess again because I was into idols, I always thought that the really young girls always seemed like kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
One thing about Ready to Kiss is they're all adults.
They're all.
The
Oh,
youngest
really?
one there is 20 years old,
Okay. There
and
you
the
go,
oldest one is
guys.
29.
Oh, wow. 29 years old.
You'd be surprised at which one it is. It's the youngest looking one.
Do you know which color she is?
Saki, no, the pink one.
Pink one?
Like she looks like the youngest because she's also like the
Yeah,
tiniest.
definitely, definitely. I'll go ahead and I'll put up a picture on screen of this. She definitely does not look like 29 years old. That's really funny. So they're all legal. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate you coming on here and kind of talking about everything about Miho and everything. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and link, I guess, in the description the your write up and everything. Definitely,
Awesome.
definitely. Like we talked, he went a little bit over it, but there is a lot like kind of in between that was just it's one of
I am
those
not good at
stories.
editing.
No, you're good. You're good. You don't want to just you don't want to reveal it all. You gotta kind of just gotta give them a little bit
Oh,
here and there.
if you're gonna go through like three write ups of like 1,700 words, gold star for you.
Well, I did it, so these people can do it too. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. It was a lot of fun.